they're like all of these things. There's always like reactionary movements. And like, so again, like this, it's say, okay, yes, you're going to sit here and for fucking 15 years tell young white men that they're toxic and they're the problem and their masculinity is inherently wrong. What do you think's going to come out of that? And then like the same people are like, where did this Andrew Tate guy pop up from? And you're like, you made him. You made him. If you wanted to make him, you couldn't have done a better job. Look, that's the whole fucking story of the Nazis to begin with, that we imposed the Treaty of Versailles and insisted on internationally humiliating these people and crushing them. And then fucking, where'd these Nazis come from? It has a reaction to that, obviously. Yeah.
And we never learn. That's what's fucked. Do you think we're going to learn more now? I mean, you have to realize, if you're thinking about history, this is the first time where people have this kind of access to all the different layers that are in operation all over the world. And if you're paying attention, and most people aren't, but if you're paying attention, you have a much broader understanding of all the things that are at play than ever before, and how these things could be avoided. And I think that's one of the reasons why people were excited about Trump getting into office, when he was saying, I can stop that war in one day. We can make deals. There's deals that can be made. We can stop all the killing stuff. Everybody was like, yeah, finally someone is not going to do it the way we've done it before.
I think I'm incredibly like optimistic on a long like time period. I think that, like exactly what you just said. I mean, it's the propaganda apparatus has been completely destroyed. Like it's just not, there's been this. I really do think a massive awakening. There's several factors to this. I think COVID is the biggest single one. I think that there was something about imposing such draconian measures on the domestic population. Like, look, we start a lot of wars over bullshit, but the truth is, for most Americans, that's kind of over there somewhere, and we're living our lives, and, like, you might be against it, but it's a different thing than, like, instituting totalitarianism in the United States of America, which lockdowns were, objectively. And they did it it's not just that they got it all wrong, it's that it was, they were fucking lying. Like, you motherfuckers made the thing, and you knew you did, and then you covered it up. Like, now this is like everywhere. It's like the shit that we used to talk about a few years ago that was like the controversial, conversations. Everyone's talking about them now. It was just Bill Maher the other day brought up that, like, hey, how crazy is it that we figured out that British intelligence in March of 2020 said that, I forget what it was, but they said with 85% certainty this came from the lab, and then so they did all of this and they got it completely wrong, and they were so full of shit that spell's been broken. People see this now. I do think you're right that there was like a tremendous look, as Ron Paul used to always say, the peace candidate always wins. I mean, like, if you in the year 2000, George W. Bush, he campaigned on a humble foreign policy. No nation building, no using our police, not being the policeman of the world with our military. People remember that's what he ran and won on. Barely won, but still he won on that. And then in 2004, John Kerry refused to run against the war, and that's why he wasn't able to win. And then in 2008, Barack Obama ran on a peace campaign, destroyed Hillary Clinton in the primary, who had all the institutional money, all the big support behind her, but she had voted for the war in Iraq. And Obama said, hey, that was a big mistake. You can't give her the presidency when she made such a big mistake. And people went, you know what? That's right. And even though he wasn't in the Senate yet when the war in Iraq was going on, he didn't vote for the thing. And he said some beautiful things about closing Gitmo and ending torture and not fighting stupid wars. And he won, like, a dominant victory. And then in 2016, Donald Trump ran and won on, we're going to stop fighting these stupid wars. And then in 2024 again, he wins on this. Like, the American people have spoken. Now, that's a very different thing than the regime machinery itself. So that's a different, battle. But the battle of public opinion on that has been won. And then I do think, even though Jamie told us before the show started that they're saying Elon Musk is going to be stepping away from Doge soon. And yes, it's true that Doge didn't actually get any drastic cuts through. But it is amazing what they have done in terms of, like, bringing to the cultural forefront the issue of how corrupt government is. And so anyway, my long-term thing is that I think I think corrupt regimes, which unfortunately we live under one, I think they are completely dependent on propaganda. And that propaganda just broke. You know, like we're just getting out of that now.
Yeah.
And I think there's like amazing possibilities. Dude, I mean, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I couldn't have imagined we'd be here now. Like, I just couldn't imagine that, like, the COVID restrictions have been completely defeated. Wokeism seems to have been, like, pretty much defeated. You know, like, this is already just incredible.
Yeah. It's incredible. It's interesting. And there's a lot of possibilities. It could go a bunch of different ways.
Yeah.
And there's also examples of it going sideways, like what's happening in the UK and what's happening in other parts of Europe, where the totalitarian measures are ramping up. And they didn't win the war on woke. In fact, they lost that war.
That's true.
They lost that war. And I think that's a shining example of the difference between what we tolerate in America. Having the First Amendment, having that freedom of speech, and then also having the Second Amendment, the ability to back that up. People are, you're going to use your. I mean, I remember even Biden was talking about that. You're gonna fight a fucking jet with your rifles. Like, that's ridiculous. Like, no, but guess what? You can't just do what they did in Australia and ship people off to camps in America.
Yeah.
Try that shit in Georgia.
Well, it's so stupid, too, because number one, the Taliban just did that to you, sir. Like, literally, you just pulled out in disgrace of a war that you couldn't win against a bunch of illiterate goat herders with rifles. So,
not only that, we left behind billions of dollars of weapons.
They got a lot more rifles now.
And they go on parades with them, where they're driving tanks down the street and flying over fucking Blackhawks.
But of course, the point is that, well, yes, if the U.S. military decided to nuke its own, population, yes, you're right, our guns wouldn't do any good. But the point is that that's not what they're trying to do. They're trying to rule us. And like, yeah, of course, having guns. Like, I don't know, by the way, let's say like the Jews in Nazi Germany had been well armed. Would that have been enough to stop the Holocaust? Or like if the Ukrainians had been well armed, would that have been enough to stop the genocide that Stalin inflicted on them or whatever? But I'd be better they are than not. Like, I don't know. Like, yeah, it might at least give them a second to go like, well, we can't go, And the truth is, like, if you were to just think the state that we're in right now, it's like, what? Let's say they were just like tomorrow, some leader was like, we're rounding up all the guns in Texas. Like, no, you're fucking not. Good luck. Yeah. You'll have a civil war on your hands. Like, these people are not giving up their guns voluntarily. And the thing about people who won't give up their guns voluntarily is if you try to force them to it, they have guns.
Especially if they think you're going to shoot them.
Yeah.
If you're coming with guns, they have guns, now you have a fight.